All right, so we're here with Nic D, one of the most successful independent artists right now in 2023 and beyond.
Yeah, here is the long-awaited conversation with Nic D. If you don't know who Nic D is, you probably do, but he's one of the biggest independent artists. He gets 1 million streams a day.
Sat down with independent artist Nic D. He's one of the biggest independent artists in the world.
But we're gonna look into an artist by the name of Nic D, who is actually an independent artist himself, and he kind of created this channel where he gives advice to other independent artists on how he's able to get millions of monthly listeners. I think he said most of the videos he's saying around 3 million monthly visitors, monthly followers on Spotify, which is like bringing him, you know, as you can imagine, crazy money to be able to create and do what he needs to do as an artist. Anyway, we're gonna get into today's video. Let's see if we can hop on over to, shout out to that boy Nic.
He's making good music enough. Let's talk about it. First, for those that don't know me, my name is Nic. I'm an independent artist with give or take 4 million monthly listeners.
4 million monthly listeners.
And I just like to chat about growing as an artist. And as always, I wrote a book. And if you care about that sort of thing, the link will be in the
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Let's get into the video. Is making good music enough? No, not really. It can be on the off chance. If your music is just really, really good, or if your voice is really, really unique, or if your style is very, very unique, then it can work. But it's much more difficult, right? Because there are a lot of artists far more talented than I am. And I'm not saying I don't think I'm dope. It's just I am not ignorant to the fact there are people out there far more talented than I am, far better singers. And unfortunately, a lot of those people will never make a living making music. And that could be, right, that a lot of like really, really talented, creative people aren't usually the best business minds because they just love to create. They're really, really good at it.
Thanks.
And they create some really great stuff. But without the business aspect, right, without thinking, kind of operating like a business would, it's not enough. Because people have to know that it's there in order to listen to it, in order to consume what you create. If you think about it like this, I don't know if I've spoken about it in the past, but if you think about it like this, there's a, let's imagine you got a burger joint, all right? You got the best burger anyone's ever tasted. Anyone who's ever tasted your burger has said it's the best burger that they've ever had. You open up a burger joint, but you don't tell anyone that it's there. It's going to be really hard for you to sell burgers. You know,
what he's talking about is
how
marketing.
good your burgers are, if no one knows that it's there,
Intentfully.
no one's going to eat them. So you got to have either yourself switching into a mindset of how do I run my business properly?
That's something I noticed, that a lot of artists, they kind of shy away from marketing, from promotion, from actually putting in the work to be heard, as if just creating the music itself is good enough. Like, and I guess that's, you know, exactly what he's saying here, but this is something I see all the time. I've engineered so many artists and worked with so many artists, and there's this ego tied to it of, man, like, my music is good. People should listen to it. People should want to listen to it. People should stop listening to all their other favorite artists who are dropping all this music and just listen to, go play my music, make sure I'm getting enough streams, make sure whoop, whoop. But it's just, it doesn't work like that. Like, you got to market and you got to go out and create new fans consistently and intentfully. You really got to go out and put in that extra effort to make sure new people are hearing your music consistent.
Or you have to put a team in place to do that stuff for you. If you're really self-aware and you know that, hey, I'm not the kind of artist that's gonna promote my music and try to make this a living, but you want to make a living making music, then you have to put someone or a team in place to do that side for you. All right, the most artsy artists out there.
Because artists, for some reason, artists think that, name somebody like Moneybagg Yo ain't marketing, or Lil Baby ain't doing no marketing. Come on, bro. Like, you see these niggas on the Shade Room all the time. You see them on Academics all the time. You see them on whatever, on all these media platforms. It's not that it happened on accident. Nobody cared that much about Blueface. The Shade Room didn't just coincidentally think that everybody wanted to hear about what the fuck Blueface and whatever her name was, Kashawn was doing. Nobody really cared, but somebody on their team, somebody is taking that information, taking those blogs, getting those videos, and maybe even planning the videos and sending that to the Shade Room and paying them to be on those platforms to make it seem as if it's some kind of organic marketing that's happening, right? It's not. Those guys are spending, those are planned, those is thought out in a more organic, strategic way, but it's still definitely marketed and planned.
Kendrick Lamar's, doesn't matter. You name them, they're artsy. They have a team in place doing the things that they don't want to do, right? But the things are still being done.
Exactly.
A lot of artists, especially the ones that don't want to operate like a business, they think that maybe making good enough music is enough because they see their artsy artists who rarely post, who rarely whatever, are being successful. But that's because they have entire teams behind them doing the stuff that they don't want to do. And I think also you do oftentimes have to give the people what they want. I know a lot of artists don't like hearing this, but in order to, I think, be successful, and not all the time, right? I don't want to just ostracize and say all the time. It's not all the time. There are people that get through without.
What ostracize
doing some
mean?
of the things.
Ostracize.
But it's very few and far between. So what I'm saying is, you have to give the people what they want. And I think oftentimes artists aren't willing to sacrifice their pride in that moment in order to give people what they want. They just want to create what they want to create. And it's also hard to run a business that way. Let me explain that. All right, let's go back to the burger joint, and I'll put this in perspective. Mm-hmm. Let's say that your favorite burger to make is extremely spicy, right? It's got jalapenos on it. Maybe even put some peanut butter on it. Put some peanut butter. I've seen it done. I've seen people put jalapenos and peanut butter together.
Ew. Ow. Hey, is that Ayo? Is that Ayo? Peanut butter and jalapeno? Come on. That might be Ayo.
Right? You got this burger. One burger, your favorite burger to make, jalapeno peanut butter burger. Your business is going to have trouble,
bro,
if you don't just make a regular burger. You got the jalapeno peanut butter burger, and you're dying on that hill. Your business is going to struggle. Your business is going to struggle unless you give the people what they want. Because most people just want a regular burger. Double patty with some bacon, maybe. I don't know. Right? You got to give them what they want. There's not a lot of people that I know that are going to eat a jalapeno peanut butter burger every day.
Even if it's busting,
it's tough,
I
right?
don't want it.
So that's what I mean about giving the people what they want. In order to run a successful business, you have to pay attention to the interests of your clients, of your consumers.
And this is something that I talk about in the Rapper Secrets course. The very end, the very, very, very last section of the course, we go over analytics and how important analytics is to growth and development and moving in the right direction. Not necessarily taking it to heart and, oh, they like this song the most, so I'm gonna only do these songs, but using that as like guidance to what your fans like and don't like, and kind of using that to move forward as you continue. But analytics is so important. This is like, man, if you can track it, you can. If you can't track it, you can't measure it. Like, you can't measure if it's growing or not if you're not tracking something. So if you're not keeping track of how often or how well something is doing, you can't really determine if it's getting better or worse, if that makes sense.
You know, whatever you want to call it, whatever it may be, you have to focus on what do they like, what do they want. And I know that's troublesome for a lot of artists because they want to create what, you know, they want to have the freedom to create whatever they want to create.
What they want to create.
And I understand that. I do.
Real quick, I want to touch
For
on
sure.
something. I was editing the video. I'm in my truck at my son's at a birthday party, and I was just editing this video. But
I didn't know he edited his own videos.
When I was talking about giving the people what they want, I do want to emphasize that once you get to a certain place, that you have fans or people that support you, they will then like what you put out just because it's something that you put out.
'Cause
They'll
it's
like
you.
what you make just because you made it. You know, the part of
You
like
got core
paying
fans.
attention to what people are interested in, you kind of only have to do that for so long. And then you have people who care about you, they'll just like what you create because you created it. It's kind of like your mom, you know, your mom likes everything you make, but that's to be expected. She's your mom, right? But it comes like down like that with your fans too. Your fans will start to like stuff that you create just because you're the one that created it. So it's a growth thing that I was talking about. Giving the people what they want is a growth thing. It's also important to continue to grow and grow and grow. But I just mean when you get to a place where you have a foundation of people who care and support you, you can then do more of what you want, right? More of what you yourself like. And that's just a thought that I had while I was editing. So let's get back to the video.
My advice comes from
Good advice, Nick.
running a well-oiled business. To be able to make a living making music. That's what I talk about. Because that's what I feel like I did well, or that's what I feel like I do well, is I run a good business.
And that is exactly what I think most artists are missing. It's not the music. It's not that people don't fuck with you. It's just that you just don't really understand how to run a business. And this is what happens when artists go out and they sign shitty deals. It's not that they signed shitty deals. It's that they didn't know enough about the business side to have leverage in the contract, in the agreement, to where it would even make sense for them to be getting 30%, 20%, whatever, and they only getting 1% of their because the label is doing everything. You're just another artist with talent, which is good, but we can replace you because you're just a commodity. We can come in and get the next one to do it if you don't want to do it. But if you already know how to run your own business, you got business skills, business acumen, you know about funnels, you know about building your email lists and contacts and email campaigns and, you know, landing pages and getting people to buy and all of this psychology of sales, reaching out to people. If you understand all of this stuff and you got your own team and you got your own game plan in place, it makes more sense for the label to give you more money because they don't have to, you're not a liability. They know that you have these things in place. You're probably more than likely already making money yourself if you have those skills. So they're gonna say, hey, look, we can take more of a risk. We can give more upfront because we're not having to put up as much. He's already profitable. He's already doing what he need to do. He's already got his own team. So you got more leverage. You're less replaceable. Most artists can't. So that's why I kind of preach this as well. Like, hey, take the time to learn the business side too. Don't just shy away from it. Or if you do want to, which is not a big deal, it's not a problem, it's not bad, but you're gonna give up more percentage because you're not gonna have as much leverage. The more you go to just artists, the less leverage you have.
And I also love to be creative. You know, I just think the two need to meet, the two need to marry, and I don't think that you have to sacrifice the art in order to add in business. Maybe a little bit, but I just mean like, I don't feel like I'm taking away from the art. I just feel like I'm adding in business. You can just get over that hurdle. I think a lot of people will find a lot more success in making a living making music. But if you don't care to make a living making music, then make whatever you want, right? The trouble is I often hear people saying like you're taking the art out of music. But I'll hear those same people complain about how much Spotify pays for a stream. I hear those same people complain that the TikTok algorithm doesn't like their stuff. Or, you know what I mean? Like the same people that are saying you're taking the art out of the music are complaining that they're not making enough money. So that's where I'm coming in to try to help. I'm trying to help you guys kind of restructure your mind into thinking and operating a little more as a business so that you can make a living doing something you enjoy. But I do want to reiterate that sometimes making good music is enough. It's just, I wouldn't bank on it.
It's rare.
I wouldn't bank on it.
It's rare.
Because
you gotta be lucky.
The content or without the marketing or the promoting, no one's gonna know that it's there. And that's the biggest thing. People have to know that it's there in order to consume it. So
100%.
is making good music enough? I don't think so, but I don't want to ostracize it because I do think it's possible. I just don't think it's practical, and that's kind of how I've always approached it. What's the most practical way to make a living? You guys know that. All right.
Right. Do you want to leave it up to chance or not? Do you want to leave it up to chance? Do you want to hope that maybe somebody discovers you, or hope that one day you drop a song like your Lil Yachty on SoundCloud and L.A. Reid's nephew hears it and he comes and plays it in his studio one day, and L.A. Reid's like, oh, who's that? It could happen. It could definitely happen. How much control over your career do you want to have is really the question you want to ask.